So today I'm going to teach you how to make the core ingredient to most of my recipes, which is sofrito. With the sofrito, what I do is I usually make a lot to freeze and put away, but today I'm just going to teach you how to pretty much do it for a smaller portion. This is cilantro. It looks like parsley, but it smells very strong. This is called recao. It smells just like cilantro, but it's a different leaf. If you don't find this, you can just use 2 bunches of cilantro instead of the recao and cilantro. But this just gives it a different type of flavor. We have 1 bell pepper and 1 onion, about this size is what I used. This is 1 pound of peeled garlic, already peeled. If you don't find it already peeled, which I've seen that they've done it, they do it a lot in the supermarkets that I've gone, but if for any reason you don't find it, buy a pound of garlic and peel it yourself and have fun with that. It's a lot of work, so I don't do that. Your grandmas may have done it, my grandmas may have done it, I don't do it. No shame. I will not peel garlic. And then we have our trusty blender. Get a heavy duty one if this is something that you're going to do often, because I must say in my lifetime I've probably burnt out about 10 blenders. Also very important is to have glass blenders, a glass blender jar, because if you buy plastic it's going to stain and it's going to stink and you won't get the smell out. The glass, you can still use it for margaritas and other important things when you're not making the sofrito. So glass is the way to go.
Margaritas get important things like margaritas, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
definitely. Very important. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to mix all these ingredients into the blender. Okay, so I begin with half of the garlic, no, quarter of the garlic, and some onions, and a few peppers.
And you just do that not to tax the blender too much, right?
Right, I don't want the blender to work too hard, so what I do is I do that. Sometimes I might have to add a little bit of water, which I prefer not to, but if I have to, I'll do that. So I'm going to put it on medium. When you're doing this, be very careful of the blades because it will chop up whatever you're using. As you see, this has had a few incidents with the blade. You want to just get it down into the bottom very carefully. You can stop it also if you're scared to do it that way, and just get it out from the blades, mix it around, shift it around, and then you're going to start adding some more things once this is fully blended. So I'm going to stop it now so I can just get really deep in and make sure that nothing's stopping it from fully mixing. If you're having a really hard time with this part, just add like a 1/4 cup of water. It'll help it all grind in. I prefer not to put the water in, but sometimes I have to. At this point, I've blended it on max for a little while. The blender begins to take the ingredients in through the middle, and the consistency is about consistency of baby food. And once it does that, what I'm gonna do is add the cilantro. After it's at this consistency about baby food, and the blender, you see that the blender is moving it all through into the middle, then it's time to add the cilantro and the recao. See, now the colors began to change. That's because of the cilantro. This is a perfect color. It's going to get a little greener because I still have the recao to enter and to put into it. And once I do that, you'll see that it's going to get a richer green. And that's pretty much when it's done. Okay, so I pretty much left that blending for about 2 minutes on high, and it's perfect. It's ready to go. At this point, now it's time to store it. Like I said before, you could freeze it if you need to, if you don't want to use all of it. If you're going to cook like me, you're going to have a nice container in the fridge, always at your disposal. If you just want to use this every once in a blue, then freeze most of it. It doesn't last me long enough in the fridge to really know what's the long-term storage, but a container like this will go quickly for me. But I would say it lasts about a month. These containers are perfect storage for the sofrito once it's done, to put in your fridge. This is the container that the garlic came in. It's perfect because that'll give you enough for about a week's worth of food if you cook like me. And there you have it. This is my sofrito, which is like roux is in Louisiana. This is in my kitchen. So the consistency, like I said, it's going to be like baby food. The color is going to be a nice tone of green. Unfortunately, this is not something that you can taste to see if you got it right. It's going to smell great, and it's going to taste good when you cook with it, but you won't be able to actually taste it to see if it tastes the right way because it's extremely strong in flavor. So just mostly focus on the consistency, that it's like baby food, and the green is a nice rich green. You don't want it too white. About as green as this plant is perfect. If it's too white, you probably put too many onions and garlic, and not enough peppers and cilantro. This is not something that has to be perfectly done, measured to an exact science. Keep your baseline to simple as 1 pepper, 1 onion, 1 bunch of cilantro, 1 bunch of recao, and 1 pound of garlic. With that baseline, you can make, like you saw, 1 container, which actually equals 1 pound. And I had about half left, so it would be about 1.5 pounds of sofrito. If you use it more, make more. Up it to 2, you're going to end up having about 3 containers, possibly 4. And just keep practicing, and as long as you keep your baseline, you'll be fine. So there you have it. You know how to make my green fairy now, also known as sofrito. That's what we call it here, is green fairy. We have all our code names for all our food. It's sofrito, so the world is now your oyster. There's no excuse not to cook like Jessica.